To the rest of the galaxy, Earth was a curse. When explorers from the Valari Collective first stumbled upon the blue planet, they didn't see beauty. They saw horror. Storms that could tear metal apart, oceans that swallowed continents, and creatures that killed for sport or survival without hesitation. The air was dense with toxins, the gravity bone-crushing, the diseases endless. The Valari scientists logged their findings and sealed them with a single classification. Class 12, Deathworld Translation. Uninhabitable, lethal, avoid at all costs. And yet, somehow, impossibly, a civilization had not only survived there, it had thrived. The first contact didn't go as planned. The Valari descended expecting savages. They found cities, vast, glittering, alive. They found art, music, machines, and people who walked through hurricane winds like it was nothing. When their ambassador met the humans, he asked in disbelief, "How do you endure this place?" The humans smiled. "We don't endure it," she said. "We belong here." The galaxy laughed. Every other world needed harmony to live. Their ecosystems were delicate, predictable, safe. But Earth was chaos, a constant war between life and death. Lightning struck forests into fire, and from the ashes, green returned stronger. Volcanoes burned cities, and people rebuilt them higher. Disease wiped out millions, and humanity turned it into science. The other races couldn't understand it. They called us reckless, violent, insane, until the war came. The Krith Empire swept through the stars like a plague. They didn't negotiate. They didn't conquer. They consumed. Worlds were stripped bare of life and left as glass plains. The peaceful species fled, hiding behind treaties and old alliances that meant nothing. The Council begged for mercy, but the Krith only laughed. Then they reached Sol. The Krith commanders scanned Earth's records and laughed even harder. A death world? They live on that? Crush them first. They sent 12 ships to test humanity's strength. None returned. What the Krith didn't understand was that fear was something humans had already mastered. They had lived with it since they crawled out of the mud. Fear of the dark, of beasts, of the sky itself. Fear had been their teacher, their ally, their oldest friend. When the Krith came, Earth didn't panic. It prepared. They didn't have the biggest ships or the most advanced weapons. But what they had was something the galaxy had never seen before. Adaptation. Krith plasma weapons melted walls, so humans fought underground. Krith armor repelled bullets, so humans forged railguns that hurled molten steel at near-light speed. Every loss was studied, every weakness mapped. Within days, humanity evolved. When the Krith invaded New Delhi, they expected a slaughter. What they got was an ambush. Civilians vanished into the ruins, drawing the aliens into narrow streets lined with explosives. The night sky turned orange. Every survivor in that city swore the same oath. Never again. And when humanity swears something, the universe trembles. Within a year, the Terran resistance became the Terran Dominion. Factories turned mountains into fortresses. Spaceports became launch sites for ships forged from meteor iron. And at their heart burned a single belief. If this galaxy wanted to call Earth a death world, then it was time to remind them what that meant. When the counterattack came, the Krith didn't even understand what they were fighting anymore. The humans didn't fight for glory. They fought because it was personal. Because every crater on Earth, every burned forest and dead city, was a wound carved into their history. The Krith learned too late that you can't terrorize the children of terror itself. On the battlefield of Cygni Prime, the last Krith fleet met the human flagship Resolve. It wasn't sleek or elegant. It was a monster of iron and scars, painted with the names of every fallen city. As the alien commander demanded surrender, Captain Arya Holt gave the only answer Earth knew. "You think we fear death?" she said, her voice echoing across open comms. "We were born in it." When the Resolve rammed the Krith dreadnought, it took both fleets down in a fireball that outshone the planet's sun. But by then, the war was over. The Krith retreated. Their empire fractured, and the galaxy, once mocking, once fearful, looked toward Earth with awe. When the Council invited humanity to join their alliance, they expected a demand for power. Instead, the human ambassadors simply said, "We don't want your thrones. We just want peace. But if you ever bring war to our home again, remember who taught the galaxy how to survive." And for the first time, the galaxy listened. Because the truth was clear now. Earth wasn't a cursed world. It was a forge, a place where life learned to fight harder, burn brighter, and rise stronger. The Vilari scientists returned centuries later to update their old classification. They changed the record, though not in the way anyone expected. Earth, Class 12. Deathworld, inhabited, preferred, beloved. When they asked humanity why they'd never leave their savage home, one old man smiled up at the red-streaked sky and said, "You call it dangerous. We call it beautiful." And so the galaxy finally understood what they called a death world we simply called home.